They really had a stronghold of giving him tainted needles with the AIDS virus in them through acupuncture, because how else could somebody die that fast to AIDS?
And I got a call from the doctor. Really, I got a call from him, but then he was on the phone crying and couldn't talk. And then the doctor got on the phone, asked me, was I sitting down? And then he told me, we got the test results back, and the test results came back positive. He was HIV positive. I said, okay, and took me a minute, and he asked, are you okay? And I just remember, just sitting, crying.
Being Eric's mom and, a couple of the, I guess, baby mamas. And I heard the whole story that on his deathbed, he had given basically his entire estate to one of his children's mother. I mean, yes, I think a certain amount was left to each one of the kids, but a very small amount. I actually can't remember the amount right now. $75,000, there we go. And at that time, I want to say that the estate was worth, I think it was over $20 million.
Eazy-E's death wasn't no accident. Somebody wanted him gone for real. For years, folks been pointing fingers at Dr. Dre, whispering behind the scenes, but now his old producer just dropped some bombshells that flipped everything upside down. It confirms what fans been saying forever. Eazy-E didn't just die, he was taken out. Let's break this wild story down. March 26, 1995, and that's the day hip-hop lost a legend, and the way it went down still got people talking. His death wasn't just tragic, it was mysterious.
Well, one of the things that Yella said was that he was the only member in NWA to actually go to Eazy's funeral.
He was. Now, I was there to witness that. That's absolutely true. Yep, a bunch of other celebrities, like I think Bell Biv DeVoe, all them people came. I seen like R&B singers and all type of people, but Yella, as far as NWA, yeah, he was the only one.
Eazy didn't fade away slow. He collapsed out of nowhere in the studio like his body just shut off. BG Knockout was right there when it happened, watching the moment that would change rap history forever. It wasn't like seeing your OG get sick over time. Nah, this was sudden, shocking, like watching a flame get snuffed out in seconds. One minute he was laying down tracks, the next he's being rushed to Cedars-Sinai, February 24th, 1995, and he never made it back to the block. Then came that call. Tamika Woods, his main girl at the time, got hit with the kind of news that rips your whole world apart. The doctor said it wasn't just...
I had Dre signed as exclusive producer and exclusive artist. So when Dre tried to make his deal over at Interscope, I was included for the next 6 years. So you can say all you want to say. Basically, you could diss me all you want, but I'm gonna get paid. That's why I say Dre Day is only Eazy's payday. And that's real.
Bad. It was catastrophic. The diagnosis came out of nowhere. Full-blown AIDS. Everyone in the hood was stunned. How could a man so full of life, still grinding in the studio, cutting deals worth millions, filming with Wu-Tang, suddenly be fighting for his life in a hospital bed? Within days,
his interview done with Suge, when he talked about how you gotta kind of get creative in how you kill someone. Like,
okay.
Suge Knight could have potentially been the person that gave Eazy the AIDS.
How would he do that?
Through an intravenous needle.
And Eazy would never tell anybody that.
No, maybe Eazy didn't even know.
Nah, I think if somebody poke you with one of them goddamn needles, you know. You know.
They said he was terminal. Official cause, pneumocystis carinii pneumonia, caused by AIDS. His daughter, Evie Wright, later confirmed it after digging into the paperwork herself. But the deeper you look, the messier it gets. Because what went down inside that hospital room? Straight grimy business. Just 12 days before he died, on March 14th, 1995, Eazy got married. Right there in the hospital bed, hooked up to tubes and machines. He married Tamika Woods while he could barely move. This wasn't no fairy tale ceremony. This was survival mixed with business. Tamika herself even admitted the wedding had more to do with handling things than love. But what came next sent shockwaves through everyone who really knew Eazy. That same day, paperwork got signed, transferring control of his entire empire, Ruthless Records, and every other asset, worth somewhere between $10 and $15 million, all straight to Tamika. The timing? Beyond suspicious. People who'd been with Eazy from day one started raising eyebrows. JJ Fad, one of the first acts Ruthless ever launched, said even they couldn't believe how fast everything switched up. The ink was barely dry before lawyers started popping up and people started asking, yo, Was any of this even legit? It didn't stop there. Word got around that during those final days, Eazy's family and closest homies couldn't even get to him. Multiple witnesses claimed they were blocked from visiting, like someone was keeping him isolated. That's cold, not even letting his own kids see their pops before he passed. You can imagine how that hit the streets. Folks were furious, suspicious, and heartbroken all at once. Then came the money drama, and it was ugly. Frank Longo, the lawyer who later repped some of Eazy's kids, said the estate was worth over $20 million. But guess what each of Eazy's children ended up getting? $75,000. That's it. While nearly everything else went straight to Tamika, the woman he married days before he died. Let that sink in. Millions of dollars changing hands in the blink of an eye, while his kids were left nearly empty-handed. And the fallout, it's been brutal. Legal battles dragged on for years, splitting the family apart with accusations flying in every direction. BG Knockout, who stayed close with Eazy's people, said the pain from all this still runs deep today. The whole situation feels like a warning, a reminder of how fast power, money, and loyalty can twist when death and greed collide. The more you look at it, the more it feels like Eazy-E's final days were surrounded by secrets no one wants to tell. The way Eazy-E got cut off from everyone in his final days had people feeling all kinds of ways, like something just wasn't right. Even his funeral showed how deep the divide had gotten. So many of his closest homies and collaborators were missing from that service, and that silence spoke louder than any words ever could. It wasn't just about death. It was about betrayal, confusion, and pain that ripped through the entire hip-hop community. During those last weeks, the questions got heavy. Was Eazy even in the right headspace to make those business moves? Who was calling the shots? Why couldn't his own people get to him? And how did his health crash so fast? All of it sparked decades of speculation, rumors, and wild conspiracy theories that still won't die down. Then Dr. Wilbert Jordan, one of the top HIV/AIDS specialists, came forward with something that flipped everything upside down again. Dr. Jordan dropped info that completely clashed with what people thought they knew. See, one of the biggest reasons folks doubted the official story was that none of Eazy's known partners tested positive for HIV, and that made people say, yo, how could he have caught it naturally? But Jordan explained that HIV can progress differently in different people, and in some rare cases, it can move at lightning speed depending on the strain in the person's immune system. That revelation made things even more confusing and gave conspiracy heads even more reason to dig deeper. To understand why this story hit the street so hard, you gotta look at who Eazy was beefing with in those final years. His feud with the one man who had once been his brother, his business partner, his right hand, Dr. Dre. Their fallout wasn't just a rap beef, it was personal. It was betrayal at the highest level, and it left scars that never healed. Eazy and Dre had started out as brothers from Compton, building something nobody had ever seen before. They didn't just make music, they built NWA, the crew that flipped the whole rap game upside down. Eazy brought the real street hustle, the raw voice of the block, while Dre brought the magic in the studio, that next level sound that made the world stop and listen. Together, they turned Ruthless Records into a powerhouse. Eazy's street smarts and Dre's production genius built a legacy that changed hip-hop forever. But with that success came ego, money, and mistrust. The cracks started showing in 1990 when Ice Cube walked away from NWA over shady money issues. People thought it was just a one-time thing, until Dre started feeling that same pressure. He was the one crafting those iconic beats, the sound behind NWA's Revolution. But when it came time to collect, Dre said he was getting crumbs while others stacked millions. That's when things exploded. The brotherhood broke, lawyers got involved, and it turned from music into war. Diss tracks flew back and forth like missiles, and the entire rap world picked sides. What once started as a movement built on unity and rebellion had turned into one of the most bitter rivalries in music history. The Eazy-E and Dr. Dre feud wasn't just about money, it was about respect, pride, and betrayal between two men who helped build the street's voice and then tore it apart. When Dr. Dre felt betrayed by Eazy-E's loyalty to Jerry Heller, Eazy felt that pain right back, like his brother had just switched sides on him. When Dre bounced to Death Row Records in '91, that move cut deep. Their business relationship wasn't some simple deal. It was a tangled mess of contracts, lawyers, and loyalty gone wrong. Eazy had Dre locked in as both an artist and a producer under Ruthless Records, which meant even after Dre dipped, Eazy was still legally owed checks from everything Dre dropped. Can you imagine that? Making money off your ex-partner's success while beefing with him publicly? That's the kind of tension that could set the whole industry on fire. When The Chronic dropped in 1992, it blew up. It wasn't just a hit album, it was a cultural earthquake. But Dre didn't just celebrate his solo freedom, he took aim straight at Eazy-E. On the track Dre Day, he basically mocked his old friend, painting Eazy as a fake, a so-called studio gangster who used his crew for fame and money. The song became an anthem for the death row era. But for Eazy, it was a straight-up slap in the face. But even with all that truth on record, the streets still whisper. Why? Because the story of Eazy-E's death has all the ingredients of a legend: money, betrayal, mystery, and power. His sudden decline, the shady business moves, and the fact that he went from healthy to gone in just weeks still feels unreal. It's that mix of truth and myth that keeps people talking and keeps his name alive in hip-hop forever. The story of Eazy-E will always be more than just a tragedy. It's a symbol of how fame, trust, and power can twist into something deadly. Whether you believe the official story or the rumors, one thing's for sure: his legacy still runs through every beat, every verse, and every voice that came from the streets he put on the map. Thanks for watching. If you vibe with this deep dive, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next story. Because we're just getting started with the legends, the secrets, and the truth behind hip-hop's most untold tales.